So I have a confession to make. I really hate college.
Since leaving home 4 years ago, this gradual realization has been particularly difficult for me to face. I grew up in an affluent New York suburb, and teachers, peers, and Hollywood movies always seem to echo the same message, a mantra repeated so many times that it simply became a matter of fact. College is the best 4 years of your life.
I wanna go to college for the rest of my life. Man, I love college. Hey!
I always subscribed to this notion, and I clung onto it with every fiber of my being. As a result, throughout high school, college seemed to become the solution to every single one of my problems. Fighting with my friends? I'll make new ones in college. Bad grade on an assignment?
College professors are smarter than high school teachers. They will recognize my genius.
Parents won't let me go out on a school night?
In college, I'll make my own rules.
Because of this obsessive forward thinking, the concept of college became deified in my head. Shelling out $40,000 a year to live in a cinder block cell and share a bathroom with 25 other girls never seemed closer to nirvana.
In 2015, I finally graduated high school and I was ready. Ready for my life to begin, ready to get out of my small town, ready to meet new friends, to live on my own, to finally be a real adult.
In August, it was time to jump on a plane, move to a new place, and start fresh. And by November, I was crying on the phone to my parents every night. The illusion of college as the best years of my life and the solution to all my problems had officially been shattered.
After just one semester, I dropped out, I moved back in with my parents, and even then I still could not figure out where I had gone wrong.
Friends and family all cited the same stories of an inspirational few. Bill Gates dropped out of college after 2 years. It only took Steve Jobs 6 months. Beyoncé didn't go to college at all. Needless to say, this didn't make me feel much better. I was an ever so slightly above average student who couldn't sing to save my life, so comparing myself to prodigies didn't do a whole lot for my self-esteem. A college degree still seemed like the only solution, the only option, and the only path to success.
So what did I do? I applied to college all over again.
Yup, that's right. Refusing to let go of that infamous notion of the college experience, I decided to start from scratch.
So now here I am, 3 years later, I'm a college senior, and I can safely say that despite constant attempts to convince myself otherwise, I still feel no differently about college than I did when I dropped out the first time around.
College makes me feel listless and purposeless. It's hard not to see every second spent in the classroom writing an essay or studying for an exam as a second utterly wasted, a second that I could have been out in the world, working, earning money, growing personally and professionally. Because what I've realized over the past 4 years is that college is just not for everyone. Just like anything else, it's engaging, exciting, and worthwhile for some, and it's frustrating, tedious, and unfulfilling for many others. I have plenty of friends and family members who have absolutely loved going to college and who wouldn't change that decision for the world. But college has made me realize that for all the meetings with teachers and guidance counselors in my last few years of high school, for all the talk about my future and my goals, I was always asked the same question. Grace, which college do you want to go to? Never was I once asked, Grace, do you want to go to college?
But the absence of that second question never fazed me because I never understood that there are options.
Start working, do an internship, start a business, volunteer, travel, work abroad. The possibilities are endless, and most of them don't require burying yourself in tens of thousands of dollars in student loans. Yet that's what we continue to do. In 2016, 70% of US high school graduates enrolled in college. Because in the United States, there seems to be an overwhelmingly prevalent belief that a college degree is the key ingredient to a lifetime of fulfillment and success. If you go to college, you're responsible. And if you don't, you're a loser.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Not every country is like this. Not even every developed country is like this. In the UK, 2017 saw a record-breaking number of students enrolling in university, and that record-breaking figure was 32.6%.
That's less than half of the American statistic. And so, though I'm very lucky to have grown up in a privileged community, sometimes I really wish I had spent my formative years in an entirely different environment. An environment where college enrollment wasn't taken for granted, but rather where my educators and role models challenged me with alternative possibilities, challenged me to sit down and think, is college really the best option for me? Aside from what my parents think, and apart from the fantasy college experience that every Hollywood movie has sold me, does going to college actually align with the vision that I have for my life? Does it align with my personal expectations and goals?
4 years and nearly $150,000 later, my answer to that question feels more and more like no every single day.
Sure, college taught me how to meet a deadline, but as a freelance photographer and filmmaker, I have yet to apply any information that I have learned in college to my job, and that's unlikely to change. It's a sentiment shared by many professionals just like me. Over half of freelancers say they would replace their college education entirely with skill training, and most find skill training far more useful to their work than their college education. So if you're struggling with the idea of going to college, or if you're a college student who feels you may have made the wrong choice, just make sure you're asking yourself the right questions. Before you decide which college is your dream school, make sure you've thought long and hard about whether college is right for you. Maybe take a gap year, enter the workforce, and use real-world experience to determine if a college degree is the best path towards achieving your goals. Or if you're already in college, consider taking a semester off to reassess what matters. It's true, if you want to be a doctor, you're gonna have to go to college. But if you want to be a writer or a consultant or a software developer, or especially if you have no clue at all what you want to be, you may have other options, better options, more fulfilling options.
In the end, whether you love college or not, don't let college be the best 4 years of your life. Instead, spend each and every year that you have on this beautiful planet being authentic to your own definition of success.